So what does wine actually mean for you, though? Is it about connection? Is it about relaxation? Is it about food and wine? What does it mean for you?
Yeah, I always say a meal without the wine is called breakfast. So, so I think a good meal needs a good wine. Okay, lunchtime, quite rarely I can have wine, but because I'm pretty busy with stuff.
Yeah.
But dinners, especially, honestly, I rarely have dinners that I don't have at least one glass of wine.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's part of the meal, especially the last meal of the day. And yeah, it's just interesting stuff.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much variety in this world.
Yeah.
And again, like with anything, the more you learn, the more interesting it becomes. So it means a lot to me.
Today we're going to ask the question, what has Formula One got to do with wine? I'm Trent, and we're here on an unapologetically unprofessional, unfiltered wine journey. And we're saying here that drink more, try more, and learn more. Now, when we think about Formula One, we think about speed, pressure, and a world measured by milliseconds. And when we think about wine, we think about slowing down, we think about nature, we think about patience, we think about something that's intrinsically human. At first glance, these worlds couldn't be any further apart. But what happens when we mix precision with patience? What happens when we have a sport built on relentless pressure joins a world that's asking you to pause and savor the moment? Because this is a story about the Finnish Formula One driver, Valtteri Bottas, that's built on mindset, determination, and the world of Formula One, choosing to come to McLaren Vale and to make wine with one of Australia's most respected winemakers, Corrina Wright. The question now is this the right formula for making championship wine? We'll find out. Thank you, Valtteri, and thank you, Corrina, for joining the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Before we get started, it would have been much easier if you were driving for McLaren in McLaren Vale.
Would be easier, yeah.
Very convenient.
Yeah.
But instead, we'll change the name to maybe Cadillac Vale instead.
Yeah, Cadillac Vale.
Very easy.
It could be like a small pocket of McLaren Vale, Cadillac Vale.
Yeah.
Every time the podcast we have some icebreaker questions, get to know you a bit more. There is a lot about you, but I want to know a bit more about you as well.
Sure.
So we'll start off with, is there a most memorable wine or most memorable wine moment for you?
Most memorable wine moment for me is probably so far when we bottled the first Ihana Edition #1, and then when we labeled it and when it was actually out. And then when I tried the wine for the first time when it was launched to the world, I flew back to Finland and I asked some people what do they like about it. And of course, I wanted to share as much as possible. And then the people left. I had dinner by myself and I opened a bottle at my lake house in Finland. And I just tried to enjoy every sip of it at the maximum. And, that was for me the moment, like when everything was out there and I could just enjoy that product by myself and appreciating it.
Wow. Next one. What's the last glass of wine that you had?
Last glass of wine that I had was good question. On a flight, I had many flights in the last few days.
30 hours. Had to have a wine on that one.
Yeah. It was, I think it was Malbec.
A Malbec.
Argentinian Malbec. That was the last glass.
I feel that you are a red person, right?
I'm definitely a red person, yeah.
Okay, next one. Is there a food that brings you back to your childhood?
Back to my childhood, yes. Porridge.
Porridge?
Oat porridge.
Oh, porridge.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Next one is a person past a present they'll love to have a bottle of wine with. And what bottle would you pick?
I would definitely, slightly biased, I would choose a bottle of Ihana wine.
Yeah.
The latest edition, which is not launched yet.
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah, exactly. And the person would be Ayrton Senna.
Beautiful.
Because he would have some stories.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Next one, the most unexpected or ultimate food and wine pairing?
Red wine, full-bodied red wine, and salty licorice, like salmiakki. That we have in
licorice.
Yeah, salty licorice.
Yeah. Have you tried that?
Yeah, well, it's been a descriptor when we've been, on this journey doing the blend. And, I'm saying one, memory word, taste association, and he's saying something different. And so we've learnt about each other's, and the salty licorice one is very much a Finland, and the bilberry as well, the little blueberries that they have in Finland. Big learning journey. It's been good, and it does work well.
Talk about learning. What's the biggest lesson learned on your wine journey, or biggest discovery on your wine journey?
Probably to do with different vintages. That sometimes there's just things that you can't control. That example here, like the consistency is great, but the more you start to understand the details of winemaking and doing the blend and everything, it's just how alive these vines are. Because and the climate, everything changes every year. So probably those things that you can't control. That's what I've been surprised. Because when you go and buy a bottle of red wine, if you have your favorite, you always buy the same one, and you don't think about those things as what has actually gone behind the scenes to try and make the same wine, every year.
Now you realize there's a lot more to it, right?
There's a lot more to it. A lot more to it.
Okay, next one. If you could bottle a moment of your life like a vintage, what vintage would that be and why?
Very deep questions here. I would probably go, can it be like from
anything?
Anything.
Pretend you weren't underage.
Yeah. Underage would be 1996 when I started racing. And that's when I started my journey. That's when I had my dream to become Formula One driver. But if I need to be legal aged, then I would do 2013, which was my first year in Formula One.
Perfect. Corrina, I'm not going to let you get away.
Oh,
I've got a few for you as well. What's your most memorable wine or wine moment for 2025?
Well, for 2025?
2025.
Oh, wow. Okay, gosh. What I was going to do was I was going to link it more to Ihana because we've already had this question before. Yes. For 2025. Actually, I think it still was an interesting moment that we've had together because Valtteri's now just bought a property in McLaren Vale, and being able to go up to his place, like normally they come here and have barbecues. We got to go up to his place and have barbecues and taste Ihana up there just casually. I think that was a really nice moment. Something, you've been looking around and now you've got your own place.
Yeah.
And, it was nice.
It's like recreating the lake house moment there. Like
kind of, yeah.
But if it could be a little bit before that, it was in Finland when I got to go over and we did a dinner over there.
Yeah.
And Valtteri's very kind. His concierge, Marco, who's incredible, took us up north
to Lapland
and up into the Lapland. And we had Ihana after going on the skidoo things and, the sky. I cried. It was magical.
My boys would want to know, did you see Santa there?
Yes, we did.
That
was the first thing. That was the first thing we did.
Oh, wow.
The first thing we did, And he knew we were from Australia as well. So.
Oh, wow. He knows everything, right?
He knows everything, yeah. He said, g'day when we went in there.
What's the last glass of wine that you had?
Last glass of wine I had is, I'm actually tasting ferments all day at the moment. So
something from the future.
It was, So it's not quite a wine yet, but we've picked already our rosé and sparkling Fiano and Vermentino. So I've just finished tasting those.
What's the one food that brings you back to your childhood?
Lemon delicious pudding. My gran
lemon delicious
pudding. That's
like
the fluffy one.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's like sort of, but it's a fluffy, no flour type one with juicy bits in the bottom. Yeah,
I love a lemon.
Oh my god,
meringue or lemon.
Yeah.
Anything lemon. I see
so
the lemons over there.
I've got a few lemons. The tree is gifting us lemons currently. Yes.
If you could bottle your life like a vintage, which vintage would you pick and why?
I think I would choose 2010. 2010 was an amazing vintage here. I also had my son that year, but just the way the vintage went, it was a beautiful year. We'd come together, as a family, moved in here, bought this property from my mum.
Well, that's quite a year.
It was a big year. It was a big year. It was a good year.
Hence memorable.
Yeah.
Okay, on to your wine journey, Valtteri. Where did it start? When did the fascination with wine start for you?
It started in Finland, obviously when I was 18, the legal drinking age. But Finland, we have rough winters, meaning wines, they don't survive really in there. So we don't make wine, only like berry wine and stuff like that. But that has positives. So in the alcohol stores in Finland, it's kind of like alcohol monopoly. So there's only one store.
Like Sweden, right?
Exactly. So that means we get wines from all over the world. It's not like, example, if you live in France, you would probably only find French wines. But because we don't do wine, we have good selection of wines from all over the world, including Australia. Australian wines always been big in Finland. So then just I tried some wine. I immediately liked it, especially red wine. And then I just got more into it. Like going into food pairings, trying wines from different countries with a nice dinner with the family or friends, and just got into it. And then also when I started traveling more and more with my job, then in different countries you discover different things.
Yeah.
And it came to the point that most of my holidays then off season happened to be in different wine regions in the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is there such thing as Finnish wine culture, like for what you did in terms of discovering wine in Finland? Is that different, or is that something that's quite normal for everyone there?
I think when I started, it was still not that normal for, young people to drink wine. But it has changed a lot.
Yeah.
The whole wine scene has changed a lot in Finland. There's more and more wine bars. There are more and more knowledge about wine, which is really cool.
Yeah. Through that fascination with wine, so what does wine actually mean for you, though? Is it about connection? Is it about relaxation? Is it about food and wine? What does it mean for you?
Yeah, I always say a meal without the wine is called breakfast. So I think a good meal needs a good wine. Okay, lunchtime, quite rarely I can have wine, but because I'm pretty busy with stuff.
Yeah.
But dinners, especially, honestly, I rarely have dinners that I don't have at least one glass of wine.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's part of the meal, especially the last meal of the day. And it's just interesting stuff.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much variety in this world.
Yeah.
And again, like with anything, the more you learn, the more interesting it becomes. So it means a lot to me.
Yeah. So did your relationship with wine change as your career developed as well, and you kind of traveled the world? Has it changed from just trying a certain area to other regions, and how has that developed as well?
Yeah, it's still developing. I still try to travel to different places where they have different wine, and it's evolved on every journey, every trip. Also with people, the more you meet people, especially who are interested about wine, then you share your stories and your favorites and your wine moments, and it's a world that you just keep learning.
Is there certain regions that you're learning about now?
Well,
besides McLaren Vale?
Yeah.
Now he's a grape grower. He's got to learn really fast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Australian wines, like I said, I discovered early, but I think that's still the wines that I'm most focused on, and especially South Australian.
Yeah. Are you collecting wines at the moment, though?
Yeah. I've got a decent cellar in Europe, and I actually also invest in wine.
Yeah.
So,
What does the Valtteri cellar look like, though? Is it all over the world? Is it like McLaren Vale majority, or is it a bit of French, Italian?
It's all over the world. Nice balance between European wines and then, pretty much from everywhere. Some stuff from the US, plenty from Australia, and Chile, Argentina. I also like. It's a good selection of different stuff.
Yeah, it might kind of hark back to what does wine mean for you, but do those bottles mean something for you, though? Is it like that year that 2013, or is it certain years that mean something? Is that how you look at the wine as well?
Yeah, I would say so. And example, birthdays, for my partner, Tiffany, who's from Australia, a few birthdays I've tried to choose to find her vintage from some nice wine. And, every wine to me has a meaning.
Yeah.
It's not just stuff that I would crack open and drink and not think about it. So
now I'm going to talk about, I guess, Ihana, but before we look at that, it's about the partnership, the origins of the partnership. How did it happen? I might start with you and then get Corrina's view.
Yeah, so my love for the Australian wine came to the point that I had to do something.
Yeah.
I wanted to get involved. Initially the thought was, maybe I could do like a collaboration with an existing winery and get my hands dirty and do some blending and try and release something for people and for me to share my passion. And it was actually like I didn't approach anyone else yet before kind of by accident I got to know their family, and it's actually through Tiffany's mother. And she doesn't drink at all, like all her life, nothing. And she works with Bryony's husband,
Chris,
at the same workplace in Adelaide. And she just mentioned, I know this guy and his wife is there, like a wine family, and apparently they do nice wine.
Yeah.
And then, could we get a number or?
Yeah.
Did I call or?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think it first came through her.
Maybe Barbara called.
Yeah, Barbara called and then told us that could could you come and have a visit? You and Tiffany have a visit, and we got very excited and turned our golf cart into. At that stage, you were with Alpha
yeah.
and we put a number 77 on it. Thought that would be great for the Instagram pics that we would get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So got their contact, called, could you come and visit? Could I try some wine? And I was blown away about the quality. I never tried their wine before.
You knew from that moment,
I knew that that's what I would like to do.
Yeah.
I would like to do something with Corrina and the whole Oliver's Taranga family.
Yeah.
And because I knew, from the tasting that I had that, okay, they know what they're doing. So I would definitely approve this quality myself.
And
then I kept asking, can we do something? Can we do something?
Yeah, and I wasn't as easily swayed. No, it was great. But, I suppose we sort of thought that Tiffany and Valtteri would come and have a visit, and it'd be a great visit, and it was lovely. And, we wouldn't see them again until the next time they were perhaps over. But Valtteri kept on ringing me to come and do more tastings, and which by that stage I'd realised that he's got a really good palate, and so we were doing some barrel tastings, and I was showing some other batches, that perhaps aren't as wine yet. We were doing a lot of that sort of stuff, and then he asked, "Can we do something together?" And I think to start off with, we worried, just wanted to put his stamp, just put his name on it and not really be part of it. Like,
was it just another celebrity wine?
Didn't really feel authentic, but that wasn't what he wanted to do. So, and then we had a very funny discussion about how we have lots of environmental things that we would like that we're progressing in the region. We didn't know whether Formula One was a good thing to be partnered with until Valtteri then told us a number of very big projects that actually Formula One are involved in. So that did calm us down a little bit on that front. Once we realised that, he was really wanted to be involved, he wanted to be part of it. We didn't have to, we didn't have to write giant checks to have a celebrity, I suppose, endorsement. It was something that he really wanted to be part of. Then it just made it. It was, of course, a no-brainer after that. So it
was a true partnership.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly the way it's panned out, from everything from the naming, the blending, coming out here, conveniently the Melbourne Grand Prix is during vintage. So he's been able to come out and, see what we do and drive the tractor.
Maybe you knew it wasn't celebrity wine when he didn't want to make a rosé.
Yeah, so I did know that. Yeah. I knew that we weren't going to be making a white or a rosé, and it was going to be a Shiraz, and it was going to be quite full body.
And did you know much about Valtteri before he contacted you?
No, I was holding a very big grudge against the Melbourneites, not you guys, the Melbourneites, because they stole the Grand Prix a very long time ago from Adelaide. And so I was ignoring Formula One and then I realised, that was 30 years ago.
It'll come back.
I should probably let it go.
The MotoGP is coming back.
It is. So I had seen bits and pieces on Drive to Survive because that had started. So because we're talking now, what are we, 3-4 years ago now. So I'd seen a bit on Drive to Survive, but don't know a lot about cars.
Have you seen his calendar?
Yes. We were around when the calendar was happening. I did not purchase one.
But did I gift you one?
No, Sam purchased one.
And then, obviously, we're doing Shiraz. You said he's a red person, but did you try and convince him about Fiano as well?
Oh, he's still, you like Fiano.
I do like
but
Fiano.
He is a red person,
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought the punch should be with the Queen of Fiano, with Valtteri making a Fiano wine, but maybe in the future.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Fiano with a twist.
Yes, maybe, yeah.
So now that you have your own wine, you've got your own gin now, like what's next? Is it your own beer? I think Corrina's got some contacts.
Yeah. It seems like there's a pattern related to alcohol here. So
you got a coffee as well. That's
coffee.
You have a coffee as well?
Yeah, I'm part of a coffee roaster in Finland. Been since 2020. So that's another passion of mine. But everything I get involved, I really want to have passion for it because I don't want to do things that wastes my energy, because my main job takes lots of time, lots of effort and focus already. So to have that right balance, you definitely need to have things that you like. But I think I've got quite a bit on my plate at the moment, so I'm not really planning But again,
never say never.
What's next? So that's kind of the mentality. You just never know.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, we're looking after his vineyard for him. So when you're actually got to do all that work as well, that'll be a little
getting
hot minute
up early in the morning, harvesting the grapes.
Yeah. One day.
One day.
Yeah.
Monday, you can do the sampling for me. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about your wine journey. We talked about the partnership. Let's talk about the wine now as well. So this is Ihana Edition number 2. Okay. So firstly, Ihana. Why the name Ihana?
Ihana means wonderful or lovely in Finnish language. And that was kind of the word that came to my mind when we completed the blend. And actually few other people who blind tasted the wine in Finland with me, they said, oh, this is Ihana.
Oh, wow.
Without knowing the name yet.
Yeah.
So, then it was like, yeah, that's the right name.
So the wine came first and then the name after that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And it's quite fun process actually naming a wine.
Yeah,
when you learn about trademarks and copyrights.
Yes.
And yeah.
So on the website, it talks about 2 perfectionists coming together. Okay, so in the mind of 2 perfectionists, do you think you can achieve perfection though? Or is always that unattainable goal that keeps on motivating you and pushing you for better?
That's built in me for sure. And I've seen the same with Corrina. Like we always want to do things better.
Yeah.
And I think that brings great quality and that brings success in the end. Yeah. But is it perfect? I think we can't say it's perfect because if we are satisfied now, we're not
just give up.
Yeah, we're not going to make it better. So I think it's pretty close to perfection. But let's see what we can do for the next vintage.
Does it create tension sometimes? Because you're 2 perfectionists, though, right? And trying to push and drive.
No, we actually haven't.
I
don't think we've had any fights. I think
no.
We're learning from each other. Like I said, with each other's taste references, I suppose. But we've agreed, most of the time. Yeah, I mean, we draw the blend. It has been really interesting for me doing the blending because Valtteri is pulling out small parcels of a number of my different blocks that might all generally would go all in together, sort of thing. So it's really lovely to have someone else, pulling something out slightly different than what you would have done.
Yeah.
But I like that it's got. It should have, a stamp of both of us on it. So I like that. I don't think we've had too many disagreements.
No, I think we work pretty well as a team.
I was listening to a podcast recently between F1 driver and race engineer and the partnership there where you need open dialogue and transparency about what you think.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like in the creation of this wine, is it like that when you go, no, Valtteri, this is shit?
That's how it needs to be. We can't be complimenting each other. And if I ask her, what do you think? Do you like it? You're going to say if you don't like it. You're going to say if you don't.
But I mean, I suppose we haven't had any real dud blocks yet that we've sort of had to look at. There's been ones that didn't suit, the style that we're looking for, but for this one, but yeah.
The quality here is so good.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's quite hard. You can get it wrong, but it's quite hard to get it wrong here. Yeah. And it depends what you like. You can, with those different blocks of Shiraz, you can create different kind of things. Yeah. So that's amazing here.
Why Shiraz though? Why not Grenache? Why not Cabernet? Was it Shiraz the one that kind of captured you?
It's my favorite grape overall. So that's why we kind of went for it, and it still is my favorite. But never know, that might change one day. That's the wine journey,
So Corrina and Oliver's Taranga part of the Grange grape growing. So did you kind of carve off some of the Grange grapes for Valtteri?
Yes, well, it's quite interesting actually. The first day when he came along, I was actually at the Grange growers' lunch that day, and they had been to Penfolds the day before and said, we're going to go and see Oliver's Taranga. And they were saying, the Penfolds people are saying, oh no, Corrina's going to be here tomorrow. You're not going to see her. Yeah. she's here for lunch. So I think that maybe gave us a little bit of a stamp of, oh, okay, these guys are a little bit legit. But no, not necessarily. Yes, each of the blocks, we've got about 5 blocks that are in the Grange Growers Club, and I take half of most of those blocks. So, they're in theory, yes, but, Penfolds make it quite differently to the way I do, but yeah.
Okay, let's talk about number 2 here, what we have here, what we're trying to create with this second edition. Firstly, what was first edition like, and then how is it developed in the second edition?
First edition was already great. I think we got really good reviews, some good points, and it was my first. Well, I've done some blending experiences before, but my first actual blend, of course, with help of Corrina. That was exciting. It was when I talked first that the variety here is great. It's hard to get it wrong. Actually, from the 12 blocks that I tried, I liked all of them. So that was the starting point. That was a bit of an issue. But so I think the first time it took definitely longer to make that blend and more.
Yeah, well, I think that first time we were, what is Ihana going to say? What's it going to say different, to Oliver's Taranga? Where is that little piece of Valtteri, coming? And I think we found that in one of the younger blocks, had a bit of a bilberry character, mustika.
In Finnish, the word is mustikka.
Yeah. Which we decided was gave a really lovely lift, and that's that sort of berry thing that you were talking about as well. And so that has been sort of the through line that we're keeping, in all of the blends. But it's not a huge percentage, but it does,
Yeah, so it's still big wine. It's still full-bodied, but it's elegant as well. And there is this brightness and this lift in it. And that was kind of the baseline for edition 1. Edition 2, again, different year, different climate, and especially that one block which had the mustikka, the bilberry, that changed a bit more towards, I would like more like cherry.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more like, what's the word, berry driven edition 2, but again, it's subtle change from edition 1.
Yeah.
It's a slightly brighter, I would say.
It's not juicy, it's not flabby. It's, I think you talk about kind of brighter characters, which actually then takes off the edge of the alcohol. It's 14.5%.
I mean, it's a weighty wine. It's got lots of tannin as well. To age. We want Valtteri really wanted something that we could, that was drinking well now, but was also something that you could age. So that's sort of where we've been working.
And these were the questions I was trying to get from Corrina when I was doing the blend, like, what if with this blend, like, I can maybe get an idea how that's going to taste in a few months or a year, but then she will know much better how it's going to taste in 5 years or 10 years time, and that's what I was trying to also get from her when doing the blend, making sure that this is a wine that it also ages well.
How did you do that with Corrina? Did you kind of look at, I like this type of wine and this is the type of style I want to kind of go for, and then Corrina go, let's see how we can make it that style, but with a slight little Valtteri spin on it or twist onto it. Is that how it went?
I think I found out pretty quickly what I like.
Yeah.
Like what
it was sort of driven from what we had in front of us in some way, but with the what you liked. And the older block, so the 2 blocks that it ended up coming from, the first batch and the second batch, the older block was a slightly later pick. So I picked the same block 2 times, and that later pick had that real generosity and real richness and mid-palate. McLaren Vale is always great for mid-palate weight. And I always know that block is, has a lovely tannin structure and can age really well as well, because it's often been the core of, our Oliver's Taranga Shiraz. So, but, Ihana is tiny batch. It's only 5,000 bottles, so I can just sneak. We can sneak little bits out of everything if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But
So far, number 1 and 2 being just from 2 different blocks, which one is quite old vines, and one is a bit younger, which is actually the ones that are giving this brightness and lift.
Yeah.
They say wine sometimes have a bit of a persona. So is this the personification of Valtteri? Is it like your calendar being bold, artistic and confident type of wine?
Yeah, I think that's a good
So
description.
confident.
That's a good description. It's definitely, it's strong, but it's also elegant and stylish.
Yes.
So, and confident. Yeah, that's a good one.
Confident.
So this is very much a Valtteri wine and not a Oliver's Taranga wine with...
I think that was also part of our discussion in the early days was, we wanted it to, have the stamp of both of us on it, but be its own thing.
Yeah.
We didn't want to have, Valtteri by Oliver's Taranga. Or,
exactly.
And also Valtteri didn't want it to be, like a Formula One
wine
sort of thing. It was,
Yeah, no checkered flags or F1 cars on the label.
So no number 77 on it?
No, just my name.
Just
it's me as a person, not as a racing driver.
Yeah.
So,
And the other thing I noticed is the label as well. Is there a meaning to the label?
Yes.
Yes, there is.
What's the meaning?
So that round shape, it could be a tire, but it's not. It's a globe. It's a world. The top part represents Finland, which is cold, and the bottom part Australia, which is hot.
Oh, wow.
So kind of like fire and ice. And the lines over there, if you look at the vineyard, it's kind of like lines of the vines.
Yeah.
Or if you're a big racing fan, it could be the lines of my racetrack.
Oh, yes.
So you choose.
I thought it was like a racing helmet and see if there's anything there.
Helmet.
But no, it wasn't.
We haven't had helmet.
Because it looked a bit like a bison.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Never thought of
No,
that.
we can throw that into our...
Yeah.
Well, it depends who we're talking to. If we're talking to Formula One people, we'll...
But yeah, the guy who designed the label is really talented. He's done...
Yeah, so it's won actually quite a lot of international
Burley
awards.
design.
Yeah,
Australian, Finnish, or
Australian he is. He's won quite a lot of international awards with it. Yeah.
I love it.
So...
We've had number 2. What's number 3 like? Should we try it? Or?
Yeah, let's do it.
Is it hard to drink during the season though? Or can you drink? I'm thinking elite sportsmen.
Yeah, you can.
Timing-wise.
Yeah, like... Yeah, you can, but of course, like...
Moderation. I'm sure you got some stories to tell about...
But I also, like, I think in my genes, I can handle it pretty well.
Yeah.
So, and I don't get sore heads or hangovers.
Yeah.
So,
is that the Finnish genes or is this the Valtteri genes?
could be Finnish genes.
Finnish genes.
I think so.
We can drink, but don't really drink to excess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
Respect for the wine.
I know my limits.
Yeah.
I learned those when I was a kid. So yeah.
After 18. Though.
Yeah.
Exactly. Disclaimer. After 18.
So the limited production...
Or 21 in US.
Yeah.
So the limited production, 5,000 bottles, is there a reason why you're keeping it so small parcel? Was that your idea, Corrina's idea?
So for the first vintage, that was kind of what we thought would be a good number, to start with, and also kind of what you had available.
Yeah, a bit of both, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's a good number. It's still enough you can spread it a little bit around the world, of course, mostly still Australia, but and we don't want to make it huge. It's not mass production. It is just really sharing limited edition wine each year to people.
You haven't printed like one of 5,000 yet or something like that on it?
We have, there's number 77s. There isn't.
Oh, there is a number.
There's bottle numbers.
Okay,
there are bottle numbers.
Oh, very cool.
The lucky person who gets the number 77. I think the difficulty, with being, the tyranny of distance of Australia and his fan base being, very much worldwide. Yeah. And, it's tricky sometimes. There's monopolies to deal with. There's, people who really want his wine who would love to get it. And we still do send it all over the world, but sometimes it costs more than the actual wine to send it. So I think keeping it nice and limited, and just being able to place it in. So we got good representation in the US, and good representation in Singapore, and about to be sort of Montreal and Mexico. But Australia is by far the biggest.
We talked about the evolution of 1 to 2, and now what's the evolution from 2 to 3?
Again, it's different. It is different.
More berry-ish on this one.
Yeah, and I'm my palate is very sensitive to licorice and salted licorice, and I feel like that this is going slightly more to that direction. There's one candy in Finland. It's called Aakkonen. It's basically a combination of raspberry and salted licorice combined, and that candy is I get vibes of this one.
A bit like that kind of sarsaparilla type of feel to it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Sarsaparilla with a kind of a lick of like red skins onto it, if you know.
Yeah.
Well, this one comes from the oldest vines on our property as well. So it was a slightly move away from edition 1 and 2. So a slightly different block, older vines. That level of generosity is pretty rich. That mid-palate weight is pretty big there.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good progression.
I kind of might do the segue to F1. It does feel very precise. It's not big and
still that
flabby.
elegance. Yeah, I think that was the point that we were trying to do. Next tomorrow we're blending edition 4. So
exciting.
We're going to get that going. So we usually do a bit of time this time of year. We put the preliminary sort of blend together, and then sort of have a look at it again later in the year and see how it goes. So,
Because
and then we don't bottle until later.
There's no rush yet to kind of get it finalized now. So we just do the initial tasting, get the idea of, okay, this is what we have.
Yeah.
That's what changed from previous years, and go from there.
Do you take what the vintage gives you, or do you go like this year, starting off with a new team, I've got excitement, I want to create a wine that's exciting as well and racy as well?
No, I think we go more for what the
Mother Nature
gives us, and then we go from there. But try to keep similar style, because this wine is definitely the style I like.
Yeah,
like for me,
that's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Has any of the other F1 drivers tried your wine, and what are their thoughts on it?
Yes, Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah,
he has his wine as well.
Yeah, yours is better though, right?
He tried it, and I think he was a bit jealous. He said it's bloody good. But I'm not sure if
not
other
many
drivers
others are into wine. No. Well, some of the older drivers at that race of champions, there was quite a few of them that got into it. Wasn't it? Yeah.
But the youngsters, I think they are not really into wine, at least that I know. So,
well, Sergio, does he drink?
He likes wine, but I think he prefers tequila.
Tequila, the Mexican in him, got it.
But he hasn't tried Ihana yet, but I'll make sure he will.
Fantastic. Okay, so I want to do that comparison in F1 world and wine world now, which is basically engineering and craftsmanship around wine. So in F1 and wine, they talk about the 1%ers that make a difference. I guess for Valtteri, what do you see as the kind of 1%ers this year, being a new team, to make that difference?
I think we're initially as a team, we're talking bigger percentages.
100%.
Bigger numbers.
From testing.
We need to improve more than 1%. So we're not there yet, but we will be.
Yeah.
So now it's about the figuring out what are the main points we can improve, how quickly. First thing, we have a car. That's already an amazing achievement. But then in Melbourne, we got to see where we are. That's the first time we're going to see everyone giving it all, running the cars on full power and everything, and then we see. But then eventually it will be, like you said, it will be those milliseconds, those micro gains you can make. And example, wine blending tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to be playing with percents.
Half percentages.
Exactly, So, it's pretty cool.
What excites you most about the new season ahead?
That I'm back and that everything is new. It's a new team in the sport, which is something I've never had before, and it's actually quite rare in your career to have that kind of situation. So that's very exciting.
What was more exciting, the first time you drove the car in testing, or the first edition of Ihana?
You can say the car. I know you like to go fast.
They are different things. For me, it's a bit like yin and the yang. It's racing. It's my job. It's my passion. I love it. But it's hectic. It's noisy. It's sometimes stressful. And wine to me is that balancing factor. It's kind of the opposite. So that's why I enjoyed both very, very much.
So they say at the start, it's that balance between patience and pressure and precision as well. So you need that yin and yang and balance.
Exactly.
Okay. I guess, with F1, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of precision. There's those 1%ers that I mentioned. Do you see that in how you apply that towards wine as well, and how have you kind of input into it? Is about, I need a bit more Viognier into this one, or I need a bit more ripeness in this wine? Are you starting to look into that as well in terms of how you can make that kind of perfection in wine as you do trying to perfect a lap?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think Corrina can confirm that, if I...
We do a lot of tasting.
Yeah, we do lots of tasting, and I want to make sure that the product is great. And, I want to be, happy to share that to the world. So of course, then when you have interest, naturally you try to do the best you can, and you try to do better and better each year.
What's the goal of Ihana? Is it to make a Grange-like wine though, or like what is you trying to create with Ihana?
Could be better than Grange.
At half the price.
Grange.
I don't know about that. That's different. It's different. I think,
It's different style.
Yeah, different style.
But we want to make it better and better every year. I think it's already great. I think it's already, quality is great, and
the core is just about sharing Valtteri's passion for wine, and like being able to stamp his name on something that he really loves, and
like that's what I love, and hope you people like it too.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Well, you for Corrina for like winemaking, what's the equivalent of those 0.01 seconds in winemaking? Is it an extra days of hang time of the grapes?
Yeah, 100%. But you know, at the moment we're looking towards a weekend of heaps of rain, is what they're saying at the moment. So you know, do I pick before? Do I? You know, at the moment it's we're relatively early in vintage for McLaren Vale, so there's not a lot that I can do early. You know, we just have to hold on.
Yeah.
But it's also, that ferment, what's it doing? What's it not doing? More time on skins. What's this vintage doing to the tannins in the grapes? There are a million. I mean, I think winemaking is 99% logistics and decision making on the fly. As well as the craft and the art and all of that sort of side of things. So, there's a million different levers I can pull.
Yeah.
I get exhausted from making decisions sometimes.
Which is a good segue, because there's always, I feel like there's two types of winemakers, also drivers as well. Like there's the ones that's very data-driven engineering and science versus the one that's very much about gut and instinct. Valtteri, are you more science or are you more gut instinct in being a driver?
Honestly, both. I can't say. For me, you got to use both.
Yeah.
Like some drivers would be much more driven by their instinct. Some drivers would be much more driven just by the data.
Yeah.
I try to combine it both.
Yeah.
And makes the most out of the technology nowadays, which is huge and is improving every year. Yeah. But still, follow your feeling and because you got to have that confidence that it is right for you. And so I try to use everything what I have, and then final decision is probably then my gut.
Yeah, sometimes people mention about being in flow state. Have you ever been in that feeling going around Monaco or driving at 300 kilometers an hour?
Absolutely. That's what as a driver, as an athlete, that's what you try to search for, how to get to that state, that everything is under control and things just flow. But you can't get there every lap of every race of the season, which is disappointing, but you try to maximize it.
So you've been in that situation before when you just have an out-of-body experience. I remember watching Senna in Monaco, and he's driving around, says the out-of-body experience. Is that what you've kind of felt before? And what does it feel like?
I wouldn't describe it as out-of-body because I was still in the car and I could feel the G-forces. But I've had a few moments in my career that things kind of slow down. Things feel easy and 100% under control.
Yeah.
There's been some qualifying laps. There's been some races. Example, the race in Melbourne in 2019, which I won. That was one of those ones that I was just in control and everything felt easy. I had a qualifying session 1 year in Barcelona as well. Same thing, like the whole lap. Actually, in the middle of that qualifying lap, in the last part of the qualifying, I was thinking out loud, this is so easy. Like, and I was just like, just nailing purple sectors. And it's mad when it happens.
And do you know how you get to that point? Or you try and replay everything to try and get back to that feeling?
For sure, you can't try too hard. Then it's never going to happen. Yeah. And that's tricky because you want to do well, you want to try the best you can, but you just got to learn to listen to your body when it comes to the preparation for the race weekend, the people you hang out with, if there's anything else in your mind. It's a combination of many, many things. And in the end, it's about inner peace and being confident.
Yeah. Is that Sisu?
Yeah, Sisu, maybe. I mean, that helps me to keep pushing. Yeah. But it's more about that confidence and inner peace.
Yeah. Fantastic. As a winemaker, are you more science or are you more gut?
No, I'm exactly the same. I do a bit of both. So, again, having all of the tools and the numbers and all of that sort of stuff to look at, but then still guided by flavour, what it's tasting like, what's happening, what I'm seeing in, all the different wines that we're making, putting together all of the years of, I suppose, experience and everyone else's experience around you sometimes as well, and trying to get the best out of it. But, I always think the best wines are the ones that you have to do the least to. So, the ones that you can be the most hands-off with. But sometimes, making a decision not to do something is harder than making a decision to do something sometimes. So, love to listen to all the science, but, relatively hands-off. And I always find that they're the as long as you got it right in the vineyard, they're the ones that really sing and show off, what you can do. Yeah.
I mentioned flow state as a driver. Is there flow state as a winemaker when there's like 10 tons of grapes coming in and you have to control the formants and
when you pick exactly how many tons is going to be and it's on the exact right dome and there definitely is when you think. I mean, sometimes tasting a ferment, you're just like, oh, this is like incredible. But you're always nervous all the way through, getting it until it's really in bottle, and then sometimes even after it's in bottle, because then you're sort of putting yourself out there, aren't you, for criticism. I mean, I can't whinge because I don't have the whole world criticising me, but he does, giving their feedback on every single form of
hopefully
social media.
Constructive.
Yeah, constructive criticism. So, it's always scary, but I know that what I'm trying to do from here is represent this vineyard, represent what we are, 6 generations of family being here. I feel like, I've kind of got a bit of it in my DNA now.
Yeah.
But I'll always be paying attention to science as well. My son, actually, when he was little, he was like, Mum, I've decided I'm going to be a scientist. And I was like, oh, that's a bit like me. I'm a scientist. He's like, no, you're not. You make wine. I was like, Dad's a scientist. He brews beer and grows grapes. And no, I mean like a real scientist, Mum. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So I want to delve in a bit more about the mindset, about the difference between good and great. So for a driver, F1 driver, what do you think is the difference between good and great? Is it about, again, natural talent, or is it about discipline and training or the preparation?
I think everyone who is in the sport, you need to have that natural talent. And of course, that might vary. But I think it's more about how you get there and how much actually it is driven by your own will to improve and to get there. I think that makes the biggest difference. You can be a super talent, but if you don't want to put the work in, or if you're not interested about small details when it comes to driving or the setup, then that's not going to work. Or that's going to be good, but it's not going to be great. So it's having the full combination of talent, driven to do well, to do better. And people probably underestimate sometimes it is really a team sport. So you need to be able to be a team player within the team, and not just to make most out of yourself, but to make most out of the people you work with.
Yeah.
Like if you can get few percent more of the, let's say, about from your race engineer or your performance engineer, if they can give you better stuff, more precise stuff, that's going to make me faster as well. So it's not only driving. So it's also that human relationship between the people you work with.
Yeah. How do you keep yourself motivated, though, to keep on pushing yourself to be better? Is there certain things that you do?
That's very easy for me. I never struggled with motivation because it's my passion. I love racing. I love driving, and I wanna get that feeling of success again. That feeling of, example, winning a race or hitting your goal. Like for me, that's really hard to beat. In to me, I'm very much driven on goals, and then how to get there. And when you get there, you get that reward, which is like very satisfying. So.
Getting back to perfectionism, have you ever done that perfect lap?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. A few of them that I was thinking in my mind that nobody can do it better than that.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you kind of mentioned that there's a lot more around F1 than just the driving. We always see the glamour around F1, but what we don't see is probably all the sacrifices around F1. What's some of the sacrifices that you've had to make sure that, one, you get to F1 and then you keep at that level in F1?
I mean, some people might think that we just go to the races and there's not much happening in between, but that's not the case. Yeah. So, the days I'm actually at home is not much, and it's getting less and less every year. So I think that's something people maybe don't realize. Like the amount that I see my family, that I see my friends, is not much, so those kind of things. But I always say I wouldn't change a single day. I'm still living my dream. It is still my childhood dream that I'm still doing that. So I'm very, very lucky, and every sacrifice is worth it.
Yeah. You mentioned the childhood dream. So do you ever stop and reflect? Maybe this is the wine bit coming into it as well. When you reflect on that boy from the Finnish town of Nastala, becoming one of the biggest Formula 1 drivers in the world, do you ever stop and reflect and go, how did I actually get to this point? And
I try as much as I can, like almost every day. I think is important, because if you forget that journey, it's not great. So I think, definitely it's better to look at, I've definitely learned to look at the big picture in life and in the sport. And especially being 1 year away from racing, I appreciate it much more. Like, I think Melbourne is going to be like almost emotional for a Finn, even, so it's cool.
You'll be the one crying this time, not me.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I can always feel the emotion. What do you think? You had 1 year away. What are the things you're most appreciative of and most grateful for in being in the sport?
Most grateful? Well, first of all, that I'm still there, able to race. I've already had a great career, but I still know that I can give more to the sport. I can still achieve more myself. So that's the main thing, really. Just living the dream.
Was it always Formula One for you, or were there those forks in the road that said, if I went down this path, I would have done something completely different versus going down this path and become an F1 driver?
At one point, a bit of a mix between ice hockey and racing. Because in Finland, in the winter, racing got tricky with go-karts. So then I played ice hockey, and I really enjoyed it. So some winters I was like, this is so cool, and maybe I could be an NHL hockey player or something. But then when the snow melted, when I went to go-karting, then I was like, this is the best thing ever. So if not F1, for sure sports, and most likely ice hockey.
Fantastic. Okay,
so cyclists nowadays.
No, but now it's too late. That bus has gone.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. I'm good at these amateur events.
Yes.
So
they have different age groups, don't they?
He'll be masters soon.
Never say never. Maybe one day gravel age group world champion or something.
Yeah. Love it.
So in corporate life, which we're in, sometimes we let the job define who we are. I don't know whether that's the same for you in F1, where we think of Valtteri as the F1 driver, drove for Williams or Mercedes and Alfa Cadillac. Have you thought about how you kind of redefine yourself and not just be the Formula One driver, but who is Valtteri Bottas?
I think in the last years, I've really come out of my shell. I think, like I said earlier, being able to learn to look at the big picture in life, to understand that some things are not dead serious, So I just try to be who I am. I try to have fun along the way, and I hope people appreciate that. And it's whatever you see, that's just real me always. And I think it's the easiest way to live. Yeah. And it's fun as well.
I think I was reflecting with Corrina on how quick life goes, and it's too short to be miserable anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's there to have fun.
Exactly. Yeah, I was thinking that when you said tomorrow it's blending edition 4, I'm like, 4 years now? Where did that go?
It's crazy. I know, it is crazy. It's it's mental. It's exciting. Yeah.
This is always a tricky question though. Like, what are 3 words to sum up Valtteri Bottas?
What was the words for the wine? Strong, elegant, and confident.
And confident.
Strong, elegant, confident. Love that. You should put that in the back of the label.
Maybe.
Okay, Corrina, your turn.
Mm-hmm.
What separates a good winemaker from a great winemaker?
Oh, man. Decision making, being able to make decisions. I think, being able to make a decision and hold your nerve and not sort of flip-flop around in all the different aspects of winemaking, I suppose,
So similar to Valtteri with the perfect lap. Have you made the perfect wine?
No, I don't think so. But I mean, I enjoy trying, that's for sure. Yeah. And I will continue to try. And sometimes I have made the perfect wine for me. But that's not necessarily for the whole world.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
And what are 3 words that sums up Corrina Wright?
Talkative. Smiley.
Yeah.
And driven, but without a car. No car skills with me, but
So
I've driven you with the golf cart.
You have, He's scared the life out of me, and he's also driven a forklift and scared the life out of us. And almost burnout.
So I think Valtteri is pretty much an honorary Australian now. I've seen the ute outside as well, which is a pretty mean ute. We should take a photo later.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Finnish culture versus Australian culture. So I grew up watching the likes of Juha Kankkunen, Tommi Mäkinen, Raikkonen. Where's your Kanen around it? But that aside, why does Finland still keep on producing great racing drivers? Is something in the air, something in the water that does
well,
that?
the air is very clean.
Yeah.
The water is very
The water
pure.
is the best water in the world. I can 100%. I would drink that water over any other water. Sorry, I interrupted.
It's okay. Those are pretty clean.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that. I think for motorsports, I think the mindset of Finns is pretty good. Like, I think we are good at staying calm in stressful situations. We are quite stubborn, and we are kind of happy to follow our own path. Which sometimes you gotta be selfish and make your own decisions. I think it's more about the mindset than anything else.
Yeah. Do you see any similarities between Finnish culture and Australian culture, or they're just polar opposites?
They are quite opposite, but some things are similar. Like the humor is like same kind of sarcastic,
like dry, sarcastic.
Yeah, that's very similar. Yeah. That's what I like. But
and liking space, like having, like you guys like to get out and away, don't you? Out by yourself into the bush, not bush, but
bush.
Forest.
Here you go to the bush, but in Finland we go to the forest. Yeah. Finland, Australia. I think probably I like Australia so much because it's so opposite.
Yeah.
Again, in the label, you've got the fire and the ice. It's like, it interests me a lot. So.
Would there be one thing that you would kind of pick from Finnish culture and bring over to Australia?
Sauna.
I have it already.
Yes, I saw it. I saw it was
Yeah. The also the frozen lake ice baths.
Yeah,
they would be nice, but again, you can get an ice bath. No, I think it's good to keep Finland as Finland. It's good to keep Australia as Australia.
Yeah. So vice versa, would you kind of give anything from Australia and pick it and give it to the Finnish culture as well?
Probably for people a bit more showing emotion.
Yeah, okay.
Like Finns are very reserved, especially if you don't know them yet. Like no small talk, everyone hates it. But I've traveled so much that I've kind of, I think learned to from different cultures. But to me in Australia, most people's mindset is just like they just want to have a good time. Yeah. That's a big target in life, to have good time and fun while you're doing it. That's kind of sometimes Finns are forgetting that, I feel like.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to move from national culture to team culture. So we often talk about terroir being an expression of the land. So, I guess for a team environment, it also helps create the ability to win, the ability to drive better. There's kind of 1%ers that we've talked about before. How does it feel this year joining Cadillac as a new team? And you have a massive part to play in establishing that team culture. What's the team culture you're trying to establish?
We touched on earlier.
Yeah.
Like I got to make sure that I can get the most out of the team. Of course, most out of myself, but from all the people. But the issue still is, every day I go to work.
Yeah.
I meet new people.
Yeah.
Hey, my name is Mike. Hey, my name is Laura.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. So I'm still in the process of, like, same for everyone in the team. Everyone is still getting to learn each other better and better.
Yeah.
So there's still a long way to go before we go to the details of extracting those 1%.
Yeah. Is it about creating a fun culture? Is it about establishing a trusting culture? Is it fun about establishing a disciplined culture? Because I'm guessing you would have seen differences between like Williams, the Mercedes, the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah. I think as an American F1 team, it's going to be a bit different. So I think people, yes, it's very professional. Atmosphere needs to be professional. Yeah, again, driven to do better. But at the same time, I think we should all enjoy this ride together. And I think that's kind of how it feels like. Like it's been great fun working with this team so far. And again, it will shape to the shape it will be in the near future.
Okay. Going to have a bit of fun with you now.
All right.
Australian food versus Finnish food, this or that. I hope I can pronounce this good enough.
I can't wait. I'm glad it's you doing the pronunciations.
Okay. It's Karelian pie, but it's called Karjalan piriraka.
Karjalan piirakka.
Oh, close.
Pretty close.
Or the Aussie meat pie.
Oh, no. This is going to be controversial. I'm going to make the Finnish news, the Australian news.
Yeah, you really will.
He said this and that.
Exactly.
I got to gotta go for meat pie.
Meat pie. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one. Lohiketo, which is a Finnish salmon soup.
Yep.
Or fish and chips.
I really miss the Finnish salmon soup sometimes.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that.
Okay, next one. Poron kastis,
Which
reindeer stew.
Yeah.
Or slow-cooked Aussie lamb shoulder.
No.
Oh.
I love both. But let's go for the slow-cooked Aussie lamb shoulder.
Next one. Finnish rye bread or Aussie sourdough?
I'm actually gluten-free. So I can't have either.
Okay. Lingonberries or Queensland mangoes?
I like mangoes, but I go lingonberries. They are pretty special.
Okay. Next one. Pulla, which is a cardamom sweetbread, or Lamingtons?
I can't have either.
No,
but they do gluten-free versions.
Tiffany found Valtteri a gluten-free Lamington. What was that? Christmas time, I think. Yeah. So it was the first taste. I would argue it wasn't the greatest Lamington.
But that pulla, it's kind of like a cinnamon bun.
Yeah.
It's Finnish national treasure.
Pretty epic.
Pretty epic. So I got to say that. Yeah.
Okay, last one. Ice swimming and a sauna. Or a beach swim and a cold beer.
Well, why can't I have cold beer also in the sauna?
You have the beer in the sauna.
Yeah, but it's not included. So that's why I'm going to choose the beach and the beer.
Beach and the beer.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we're nearly at the end. Lightning round questions for you. The one you're having after winning a race.
Would be Ihana.
Ihana 3.
Special occasions.
The wine you would drink after winning a world championship.
Oh. We're cracking open something big.
Probably something from my cellar that I've been saving.
Yeah.
Something a bit older. I don't know. I think I would go in the moment. I would choose in the moment. Like,
would it be Australian?
Hope I get in my mind at that point, I want this wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. The wine that best represents Valtteri Bottas.
Very
Ihana,
easy.
Easy.
All the editions so far.
End of year driver's dinner. What wine are you ordering for the table?
South Australian Shiraz.
South Australian Shiraz.
Yes. Depending
He's
on the
already
menu.
done that.
Depending on the menu. So,
Yeah.
Okay, last two. Who wins the Drivers' Championship this year?
I think I'm being realistic. We as a new team, we're not going to win the title this year. That's how it is. I'm going to be... This is going to be controversial. No, I'm going to go for the Aussie favorite, Oscar. I was going to say Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah.
But just based on that team performance in testing. But I'm going to say actually McLaren, they were sandbagging. So it's going to be Oscar.
Playing games.
Love it.
Next one. Who wins the Constructors' Championship this year?
McLaren.
McLaren, again. The double. Okay. We're at their tail end now. We're going to look at the future. So, Valtteri, what excites you most about the future with Formula One and beyond?
What excites me about future is the unknowns. You just never know what happens today, what comes up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And for me, it's that kind of what's next mentality that you look ahead with confidence, with joy, and just be open about what's thrown at you.
So we've seen the partnership between you and Corrina in the wine. Would we see Corrina in the F1 car?
I mean, there are F1 experiences that you can.
He threatened last year so I deliberately didn't go to too many Grand Prix last year because you were doing a lot of the
hot laps.
The hot laps.
Yeah.
Threatened to put me in a hot lap. You would not believe how car sick I get. Like, I got car sick recently at the movies where we went to see we went and saw Avatar 4D. I got so sick I had to close my eyes for most of it. But my husband would give his left eye probably to sit in a hot lap. So I'd have to very graciously, if an opportunity came up, I'd have to very graciously give it to him.
Okay, for you, Corrina, what excites you most in the future about the partnership?
The partnership has already been such a great adventure, and I agree with Valtteri in terms of that, leaving yourself open, open to things, things that I found myself in Azerbaijan. Who would have thought that I would have gone to Azerbaijan? We were in Mexico City. We just had a crazy experience late last year at this incredible car collector's ridiculous car room, which was awfully wasted on me, but was actually incredible. So you just never know where it's going to take us. We've got a few exciting things in the pipeline for both Ihana and Oliver's Taranga, and just I don't know, go at everything with an open heart and see what comes of it.
Yeah. Maybe a Valtteri Fiano, is it?
Yeah, well, maybe. No, well, he's now is their own vineyard, but all of those grapes are sold currently to other producers locally. But maybe one day. Yeah,
exciting.
Got a couple of ideas.
Yeah.
Or Sisu beer. What do you think?
Sisu beer. That. It's a little bit trademarked. That Sisu brand is impossible to have Sisu beer.
We did look at it.
So no Sisu beer, but
no Sisus.
But again, never say never for beer.
Okay. Final thoughts and messages for the listeners.
For me, hope you enjoy your journey.
Yeah.
Whether it's most likely wine because you're listening to this podcast. So enjoy your journey. Be open-minded. And drink more South Australian red wine.
Yeah.
And white wine.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And you, Corrina?
Just come and visit us. Get your hands on some Ihana if you can. Have a taste. Get involved. Watch us on the Instagram. Watch him. He's got what do you now got? It's a YouTube
I've got
thing.
my YouTube and on podcast as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So
very cool.
But you know where to find us, and
Yeah, you should definitely visit Oliver's Taranga in McLaren Vale.
Thank you, Valtteri. Thank you, Corrina, for joining us on the podcast. Find out more, go to ihanawine.com, IHANA wine.com. As we say here on the podcast, drink more, try more, learn more. See ya. Thank you.